Okay, so I believe that you ask a lot of questions. Okay, what is the difference between ethnic and also the race? And here we want to see why, okay, ethnic and racial groups may coexist. Okay, so the following social patterns cover a wide range of possibilities, okay, that may happen in racial and also ethnic relations all over the world. Okay, so the social patterns that characterize race and ethnic relations may be due to the first one, assimilation, second, pluralism, the third one, it might be due to legal protections of minorities, and then it might be through population transfer, continued subjugations, and also up to extermination. Okay, let us go through one by one. Okay, the first one, which is due to assimilation. Okay, so assimilation here is like incorporating, right? Okay, in most cases, the minority ethnic or racial group is assimilated into larger ethnic or racial group. Okay. Minority group usually adopts a great part of the majority group's culture. We can see, for example, in Malacca, there are a group of Baba and Nyonya. Okay, so this group, they assimilated, okay, and they adopted the Malay culture. Okay, look at the dress, the way they eat, the way they talk. Okay, even they sing the Malay songs, okay, with pantun and whatsoever. So this is the assimilation. Okay, whereby minority groups, they adopt a great part of the majority group's culture. Okay, and then the second one on pluralism. Okay, some minority groups, they refuse, okay, to let go their ethnic or racial identity. Okay, because they have a high degree and degree of ethnic or racial consciousness. Okay, and they are proud of their cultural heritage. Okay, so that is why they do not want to adopt the local culture. Okay, and at the same time, the dominant group is willing to allow and encourage the existence of a plurality of cultures in society. Okay, so meaning that, okay, the majority just allow them to adopt their own culture. This is pluralism. And the other one, which is due to legal protections of minorities. Okay, so in some countries, minorities groups are protected by law. Okay, for example, in England, okay, there is a Race Relation Act 1965, which was formed in order to safeguard the social and also the cultural interests of ethnic minorities. Okay, so they're really concerned about the rights of the ethnic minorities. Okay, so, okay, the ethnic minorities here are those people who come from various ethnic groups and they reside in United Kingdom. Okay, migration from what are now the Northern European state, okay, has been happening for millennia. Okay, with other groups such as British Jews, okay, also well established. Okay, and since World War II, substantial immigrations from the new Commonwealth, Europe, and the rest of the world has altered the demography of many cities in the United Kingdom. Okay, so that is why they have this Race Relation Act in order to safeguard the rights of the right and also the interests of the ethnic minorities. Okay, the other way is through population transfer. Okay, what is population transfer? In a situation when there is great conflict between racial and ethnic groups, the solution involves transferring the racial and ethnic population to another location. Okay. Okay, for example, during and after the American War of Independence, okay, whereby many loyalists were deprived of life, liberty, and also their property. Okay, and they suffered, okay, lesser physical harm, okay, and sometimes under acts of attainder and sometimes by main force. Okay, example, okay, one figure which is who is known as Parker Wickham. Okay, he has been tortured, and other loyalists develops a well-founded fear, fear of this. As a result, many chose or were forced to leave their former homes in what became the United States of America, and then they often go into Canada. Okay, so that is the population transfer. The next one, which is due to continued subjugation. Okay, what is continued subjugation? Okay, so it is not like population transfer, whereby in some cases the dominant group desires to retain its privileges over the minority groups. Okay, and to accomplish this, they will use pressure in order to physically separate and also segregate different racial and ethnic groups. Okay, for example, like what had been done by Saddam Hussein, okay, whereby he attempted to oppress the Kurds through violence and intimidation. Okay, so that is what considered as continued subjugation. Okay, and the last one, which is due to extermination. Okay, extermination, it is related to the exterminations of the whole populations, or also can be considered as genocide. Okay, which is widespread social phenomenon in many parts of the world. The method used include execution using firearms or deliberately spreading contagious disease, okay, like smallpox among the target population. Okay, so this is the strategy in order for them to exterminate the populations. Okay, for example, okay, I hope you still remember what had happened in Bosnia-Herzegovina before. Okay, the genocide committed by the Bosnian Serbs, okay, forces in Srebrenica in 1995. Okay, and also related something related to ethnic cleansing. Okay, ethnic cleansing campaign that took place throughout areas controlled by the Bosnian Serb army, and this one was during 1992 to 1995. Okay, this is due to the Bosnian War. Okay, if you want to know the details, you can Google about this, okay, to know about this Bosnian War. Okay, so this is the samples of extermination. Okay, so the events in Srebrenica in 1995 included the killing of more than 8,000 Bosnian Muslims, okay, as well as the mass expulsion, okay, of another 25,000 to 30,000 Bosnian Muslims. Okay, so you can see that, okay, how it is damaging to the society. And then the ethnic cleansing campaign included unlawful confinement, okay, and murder, rape, okay, the sexual assault, torture, beating, and even robbery, and various types of inhuman treatment of civilians. Okay, the targeting of political leaders, okay, intellectuals, and also the professionals. So this is the social patterns, okay, that characterize race and also ethnic relations. Okay, so as what we have discussed just now, race and ethnic relations, sometimes it is lead towards the harmonious life, and sometimes it may become hostile. Okay, several basic factors. Okay, there are several basic factors that may contribute towards hostile relations between ethnic and also the racial groups. Okay, so let us go through what are the sources, okay, or the reasons for the ethnic conflict. Okay, so basically, it is due to racism and ethnocentrism. Okay, and we are going to discuss here how racism and ethnocentrism here, sometimes it can be functional and sometimes it can be dysfunctional. Okay, and we are going to go further about the causes. Okay, what are the causes of racism and ethnocentrism, and also the ethnic conflict, which is based on prejudice and also discriminations. Okay, so the other types of ethnic of conflict is due to stereotypes. Okay, first let us understand about racism. What is racism? What do you understand with racism? Okay, basically, racism is related to the assumption that one's own race is superior to the others. Okay, and ethnocentrism, it is about the belief that that element in one's own culture, for example, maybe it is due to religion, okay, values, attitudes, and customs, okay, which they think that they are superior to that of the other cultural group. Okay, so that is ethnocentrism. Okay, so by understanding what is racism, okay, and what is ethnocentrism, now we want to see how sometimes racism and ethnocentrism sometimes can be functional and sometimes can be dysfunctional. Okay, the two assumptions mentioned above have hidden functions. Okay, functional when awareness of racial superiority and okay, when they feel that they are great compared to the other race, can create strong bonds. Okay, and it can lead to their social solidarity and togetherness among the members of a racial and also the ethnic groups. Okay, so awareness of racial superiority can create strong bonds of solidarity and togetherness among the members of a racial or ethnic groups. Okay, for example, as what had been stressed by Adolf Hitler. Okay, so Adolf Hitler used the idea of superiority of the Aryan race in order to gain support for the Nazism. Okay, so from these points of view, racism and ethnocentrism is considered as functional. Okay, how racism and ethnocentrism will lead to dysfunctional? Okay, when it is used as a justification to oppress and exploit others, then it leads to conflict and tension in a multicultural society. So in this situation, it is considered as dysfunctional. Okay, so we can see that how sometimes, okay, or maybe most of the time actually, racism and ethnocentrism may cause somebody to regard other groups as socially and culturally inferior. Okay, so then it will lead to social conflict, okay, the ethnic conflict. Now we want to see what are the causes of racism and ethnocentrism. Okay, so we know that racism and ethnocentrism, okay, may lead to conflict. Okay, even sometimes it may be functional, but mostly it will lead to conflicts, okay, among the different ethnics. So conflict theory is useful. Okay, in order for us to study the causes here, okay, we are going to see based on the conflict theory, okay, whereby it analyzes the causes which contributes to racism and also ethnocentrism. Okay, so according to conflict theory, racism and ethnocentrism exist due to competition between ethnic and also the racial groups, okay, due to the limited resources. Okay, so they are struggling for the limited resources. Three conditions that may lead to the formations of racism and ethnocentrism. Okay, the first one, okay, basically there must be two or more social groups which may be identified through physical and also cultural differences. Okay, second, there must be competition, okay, between these groups for valuable resources such as power, okay, land, or maybe the various types of work. Okay, and there must be imbalance of power, okay, between this group. Okay, or in other words, there is one dominant group with greater power to deny the other group access to these valuable resources. Okay, so we have discussed just now the causes of racism and ethnocentrism, okay, basically which is based on physical and cultural differences, and then competitions for the valuable resources, and then the third one, it is due to the imbalanced power between this group.